Hi everybody, we're doing lesson 7-1. It is multiplication of properties of exponents. I'm at home today and this is take number 2 because I just recorded the whole video and forgot to press record. So here we go. I'm teaching this again, but you don't know that because you weren't here the first time. I am at home, so if you hear my dogs or see my cats or my kids or whatever, I'm sorry, but they're trying to mostly stay away, okay? So before we start this, I'm going to do a quick lesson on exponents. We should remember exponents from middle school. If you don't, take some notes on exponents because that's what we're doing for like the majority of this unit, module, whatever you want to call it. So exponents, if I did, there's my base, 3 to the 4th power. So I could say 3 to the 4th, 3 to the 4th power, that's what they mean. This is not 3 times 4 equals 12. This is not that. This is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. This is 3 times itself that many times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. That's a lot of work though. There's an easier way. I have 2 types of calculators in my room, right? I have both of these. I'm going to show you how to do exponents on these calculators, okay? So I've got 3 to the 4th. I know that it's 81. So here we go. On the blue ones, or there's a couple of black ones like this Texas Instrument kind, I'm going to press 3 or whatever number. I'm going to use this little thing right here. It looks like a caret. I call it a caret. That's what it's called. Caret. 3 to the 4th. 3 to the 4th power. That's what this means. Oh, there goes my cat. 3 to the 4th power is 81. Okay? On this one, I don't like it as much because you can't see everything you typed like you do with this one. So with this one, we're going to do 3. There's no caret on this one. We're going to use yx. So y to the x power. Press it. The little period shows up showing that you press the button. And then you press 4. See how things go away? Equals, still equals 81. Still did it right. There's just 2 different types of calculators in the way they show it. Okay? So, a monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of a number in one or more variables. It has only one term. So, a to the 4th power. That's a monomial. An expression that involves division by a variable is not a monomial. So, divide by a variable. So, this is being divided by c. That's not a monomial. Properties of exponents, they're also called laws of exponents, can be simplified expressions involving monomials. So, we're going to start with product of powers. Okay, product of powers. That means to multiply 2 powers that have the same base, what you're going to do is you're going to add their exponents. Let me show you how. Okay, we're going to example 1. Oh, see, I already did some of this because I messed up. Let me have the other paper. Good thing I print more than one thing. I'm prepared. Example 1. So this is a multiplication problem, but I'm multiplying numbers and variables with exponents. Okay, so first I'm going to start easy. 3 times 4 is 12. I do that like normal. But when I do n to the 4th times n to the 7th, I'm going to keep my n, but this is going to be 4 plus 7. When you multiply exponents, you add. I know that sounds confusing, but when you multiply exponents, you add them. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is n to the 11th. 12n to the 11th. That's how that works. Okay, let's try this one. 7 times 2 is 14. X. When there's no exponent there, remember, everything's got an invisible 1. So this is 1 plus 4 is 5. Y. 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, that's how that one works. Product of powers. When you multiply exponents, you add them. Now we're going to example 2. It switches gears. I wish they wouldn't go out of order like this, but we're actually going to be doing scientific notation now. I'm going to show you the way that they teach it and then show you the really easy way with the calculator. Okay, so I'm just going to read it. The fastest recorded star in the Milky Way galaxy is US 708. This is a name. Don't worry about the number. It's the name of a star. US 708, which travels 2,700,000 miles per hour. How far does US 708 travel in 1 year? Write your answer in scientific notation and round to the nearest tenth. Okay? So hint, 1 year equals 8,760 hours. So what I'm first going to do is turn each number into scientific notation. So I'm going to write it down. Be careful when you're writing down numbers that you have the right amount of numbers. So when doing scientific notation, you want the first number, you're going to put a decimal, and then any other number that isn't 0. So 7. And then, look, here is where the decimal would be if I pushed it up there. How many numbers are past the decimal? Because we're going to do times 10 that many times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be times 10 to the 6th power. Okay? So what is 10 to the 6th power? 10 times itself, 6 times 10, caret 6. Big number, right? Times 2.7 gives me that number. But if I just do this, 2.7 times 10 caret 6. Same number. Okay? So I've turned this into scientific notation. I can do the same thing with this one. 8760. I want the first number, a decimal, any other number that isn't 0. But how far does it look like I pushed a decimal into that number? 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be times 10 to the 3rd power. Okay? Now I can push these together and do all that. I can do 2.7 times 8.76. And I can do 10 to the 6th power times 10 to the 3rd power. Well, what is that? Do the math. It's 2.7 times 8.76. 23.652. And then 10 to the 6th times 10 to the 3rd. The base stays the same. 6 plus 3 is 9. Now this is not scientific notation because, look at the decimal. My cat is behind my computer. Go away. Remember this needs to be 1 more over. So if I'm moving it 1 over, then I'm actually going to add 1 more here. So this is going to be 2.3652 times 10 to the 10th power. And a lot of times with scientific notation, you don't need, my cat is messing with the cords, you don't need all these numbers. You want to round it to the nearest 10th, like it said up here. So 3, the 6 is going to make the 3 turn into a 4. So 2.4 times 10 to the 10th power would be the scientific notation when you multiply these two numbers together. There's an easier way than all of this. Are you ready? 2, 7, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 times, sorry, I'm trying to move my cat, 8, 7, 6, 0, okay, equals 2.652 times 10 to the 10th. But remember, round it. The 6 makes the 3 turn into a 4. Ta-da! 2.4 times 10 to the 10th power. So scientific notation can be done right here in your calculator. Super easy. You're going to actually go to example 2 and try a check. I'll read it for you, but pause the computer and try on your own. Typically, a 4K computer monitor describes a screen with a resolution of 3,840 times 2,160. This means the display's width is 3,840 pixels and the height is 2,160 pixels. How many pixels are there on a typical 4K computer monitor? That's the name of the computer monitor. This is the same thing as this. So all I got to do, take my handy dandy calculator, 3840 times 2160. You ready? Enter. Now, this did not put it in scientific notation for me, but some of them will. I can make it go into scientific notation. I'll show you how after we figure this out. So, I'm going to write this down. 8294400. Take the first number, decimal. I can go ahead and round this. The 9 turns the 2 into a 3. Times 10 to the, remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the 6th power. Whoop-de-doo, that's our answer right there, C. Now, let me show you how to turn this into scientific notation on this calculator. The other calculator is a little more confusing, but I think it does them automatically most of the time. Press second. Press where it says sci right there, that means scientific. You're going to go over to scientific. Press enter. Ta-da! Remember, it doesn't round it for you. You got to round it on your own, but there you go. I'm going to turn this back into not scientific. So go to that one. There we go. Now we're going to move on to back to our exponents. Scientific notation is exponents, but power of a power. So to find the power of a power, multiply the exponents. So this is like if I had x to the 5th power to the 2nd power. Well, I'm going to multiply these. 5 times 2 is 10. So this is x to the 10th power. So let's show this over here on the next example. Just what I did, right? So n to the 5th to the 3rd. To the 5th power to the 3rd power. I'm going to keep my n. 5 times 3 is 15. X. 4 times 2 is 8. Easy peasy. Here we go. To a check. You got to check. Pause the video. Try it on your own. Super easy. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. N. 4 times 11 is 44. B. X. 7 times 3 is 21. Ta-da! Hope you got it. Easy peasy. Moving on. Now we're going to do a power of a product. So like look down here. I have numbers and letters, variables, all kinds of stuff going on here with a variable on the outside. So to find the power of a product, find the power of each factor and multiply. So let's try it. Oop, too many pages. This is example 4. Make sure you're labeling. So each thing needs to get the exponent. So this is 3 to the 5th power. Well, it's probably not what you think. 3 caret 5. 243. Okay? So I'm going to start with 243. Don't need that anymore because I can do math in my head. X. This is to the 5th power to the 5th power. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. Exponents get multiplied. That had to have the exponent. Now I'm going to do y. A power to a power. Because they're both little. They're both exponents. 2 times 5 is 10. Boom. There you go. This one gets a little weird. There's some rules when it comes to negatives with exponents. I'm going to show you how the calculator is going to lie to you. Ready? So when you have negatives with exponents. Okay? If you have an even number of exponents, it's going to be positive. Because remember, a negative times a negative, there's 2, that's even, that makes a positive. But if you have an odd number of exponents, it is going to be negative. Because a negative times a positive, only one negative, that's odd, is a negative. Okay? So, if I go ahead and do negative 5 to the 2nd power, that's even. It should be positive. If I just put negative 5 caret 2, it lies to me. It says it's negative. Here's what you have to do different. On this calculator, you have to use the parentheses. Parenthesis, negative 5, end parenthesis, caret 2. Positive 25. Now, on the other calculator, I don't think it lies to you. I think, because this one's a little weird, you got to go 5, negative, yx2. It doesn't lie to you. It's one of the things that it's actually better at than this other calculator. So, here I have my 25. So I did that one. Now I do the A. Remember, this is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Ooh, easy peasy. B. 4 times 2 is 8. There you go. Ready? You have a check. Check, check. Try it. Pause the video. Try it. Okay, you ready? I'm going to do 4 to the 3rd power. 4 caret 3. 64. Don't need that anymore. X. to the power of 3 to the power of 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Why? To the second to the third. 2 times 3 is 6. Easy. I have a negative. Got to use my parentheses if I'm using this one. Parenthesis. Negative 3. Parenthesis. Then my caret to the 6th power. It's even, so it should be positive. 729. Bet you weren't expecting that one, huh? Don't need that. Hey, 3 times 6 is 18. B, 1 times 6 is 6. Okay? I think we're on example 5. Yeah, here we go. We're almost done. So, if the side of each smaller square is x inches, so I've got x, 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 x. And the side of the whole canvas is s inches, so all of that is s. Then what is the area in the painting in terms of x? Well, I know that area equals length times width, right? So it says in terms of x, so we're going to use x in the answer. So we're doing our length times our width. So my length is 5x times my width is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5x. I'm in algebra. I don't want to show this. I want to do 5x squared. I don't want to do 5x squared because that's only the x's being squared. That's wrong. You have to have the whole side squared. So 5 to the 2nd power, which is 5 times 5, is 25. Show it. 5 caret 2. 25. So we've got 25. And then x to the 2nd power, 1 times 2 is 2. So 25x squared is my answer. Now try on your own. Last check. Make sure you're labeling everything. Pause it. Try it on your own. Aaliyah is designing an early version of a game and wants to use a cube to stand in for the character, which she will design later. She bases the dimensions of the cube around the height of the character, which she defines as 1/8 x pixels, where x is the height of the total game screen. What is the volume of the cube in terms of x? Hopefully you remember volume equals length times width times height. And it's a cube, so they're all the same. So I have 1/8 x pixels. So 1/8 x, that's one side. So length times width times height. That's 3 of them. So I'm going to do to the 3rd power. Okay? Now, if you do 1/8, let me show you what it does on the calculator. If you do parenthesis 1 divided by 8, parenthesis caret 3, you get this big giant decimal. Some of your calculators can turn this into a fraction, but there's an easier way. 1 to the 3rd power, well, 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. And then you're going to do 8 to the 3rd power. So you're going to do 8 caret 3, 512. Could have guessed that because there's a bunch of 512s over there. But now I need to do x to the 3rd power. 1 times 3 is 3. So x third, that gives me the answer of B. It is not this one because the x is not the only thing that was getting the 3rd power. It was the whole thing. Okay? Cool. Let me show you something real quick. If I'm going back to example 2, you don't have to do anything here. I just want to show you. I know I have an Android. It's no fun compared to the iPhones. I really don't get iPhones. I don't understand. But when you do multiplication on your phone, most of the time it's not going to do the scientific notation for you. So you're going to have to write this whole number, put the decimal, and then count to get your 10 to the whatever. So if you count this, there should be 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The decimal would go there. Okay? Cool. I keep getting told that I don't have a good outro, but, you know, have fun. Be good.